first time that DP World is partnering with the Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit. Why that decision?
So, as DP World, we firmly believe in empowering women in our communities and in business, particularly in the logistics sector. And one of our key strategies, pillars of our sustainability strategy is women. And what a better partnership than this? Where we share shared vision of moving women forwards in business and in our communities. We've been attending the event for the last few years, but when you see the congregation of such a powerful community of women come together, but each of them sharing their stories of empowerment and sharing their inspiring stories. It really then inspires us to collectively do more, and the impact becomes so much bigger when we come together for the similar cause.
And speaking about doing, making impact and doing more, tell me more about some of the work that you are doing as DP World to empower some of the women in your community.
So I'm going to focus a bit on DP World in Africa and sub-Saharan Africa particularly. And there's quite a few initiatives that we have underway, a few that are making waves, not just in terms of community impact, but in terms of serving the broader communities and solving real critical social issues for our market. A great example is our support of the Unjani Clinics Network, where we have nursepreneurs, about 130 of them, and we've got about 150 odd clinics, and they're supporting and providing primary healthcare solutions to communities. And today, we just announced a milestone. We've reached 6 million patient consults. We've also got our Solar Mamas program, where we've partnered with Barefoot College International, and we've empowered women with the skills and training to become solar engineers in Senegal and in the Horn of Africa. And those women are now providing solar capabilities to their communities and bringing light to their communities. We've got numerous other initiatives, but I think the last one I want to touch on is we also feel very strongly about empowering women in sport. As we know, women in sports is a space where they're underinvested, and there aren't a lot of partners that have come on board. And we actually took a leap of faith a few years ago to support the DP World Lions women's team. And at that stage, they had no sponsors, and they're a professional team. And a few months ago at the Cricket World Cup, when you saw the Proteas play, we were very proud that in the short space of 5 years, we saw 5 DP World Lions women playing under the Proteas banner. And how could you get more proud than that? So women in communities and sport particularly is also another key focus for us.
And obviously, you know that summits like these are all about bringing women together, exchanging ideas, having robust conversations. Just tell me more about what platforms like these do to drive the message at DP or your vision and mandate.
So I think this is a great platform, but of course within DP World, we've got numerous programs and platforms because you start internally, right? I mean, DP World has 113,000 employees across 78 markets, and we've got a significant women representation. So we've got numerous internal platforms like our women's forums, for example, which we lead, and then we empower women in the business and give them opportunities to move forward in the sector through various programs that we launch internally. And then externally, of course, we have various partner networks that we promote and that we partner with to actually give women visibility. But I think importantly to note, yes, it's about having those conversations, but it doesn't end with the conversations. I think what's very important with any platform using, why we're all here today is the actions and the collective actions that we then take from these conversations and how we turn that into a tangible reality to make life better for women around us.
Isha, you operate in a male-dominated space. What are your thoughts on female participation in sectors such as logistics, which are historically known to be male-dominated?
So I think diversity of any nature is extremely needed in any boardroom and in any business. We've seen the benefit of having more women representation in our business. It's never been a tick box approach. I think over the last few years, we as DP World and previously under the Imperial Logistics banner has really played a key role in changing that narrative. And how do you change the narrative? You create opportunities deliberately for women in key leadership roles. And then naturally you create this employee value proposition where other women look at this business and say, well, that's the business I want to work for. Are we where we need to be? Absolutely not as an industry. But I think the industry, particularly logistics, that wheel is turning. And I think our male counterparts are seeing the value of having female representation and the diverse views, the diverse leadership styles, which are critical to the success of their businesses. So it's not just a tick box approach. But again, we have a long way to go. And we'll achieve it with both the support of our male colleagues, but equally female leaders also have a part to play to deliberately create space and opportunity in their teams for other leaders to come through the ranks in those previously male dominated industries.
That is so phenomenal. Just before I let you go, what message do you have to encourage and advise young women that aspire to also occupy such positions that you do today?
So the first thing is put your hand up for opportunities. You may not feel like you're ready or that you have the right skills or expertise for a job or a role, but put your hand up. And the best learning you can ever get is on the job. And it's about attitude, right? If you have the right attitude and you want to grow and learn, the opportunities will come. And the thing I would leave them with is always dress the part. Literally, as we see with all the gorgeous women here tonight, especially yourself, but also figuratively, put your hand up. If you're in a position of leadership, take it on with full conviction. If you're starting in the business, like I said, put your hand up, act the part, create the opportunities if they don't exist and keep moving forward.
You just come off the first panel of the day, Why Conscious Leadership Matters. Just walk me through some of the sentiments and some of the points you are going to take home just after your panel.
I am fired up. I am excited. The conversations we've had today is one that must be constantly held. In everyday work that we do, it must be guided by leadership. Not just leadership, but conscious leadership, which allows you to operate from a place of understanding that everyone is not you. And when you understand that, then you understand the dynamics of working with other people. I learned from the panel the importance of us standing in our authority as women, given how unique some of the circumstances we go through is. That is squarely unique to women. We are expected to be leaders. We are expected to be mothers. We are expected to be wives. We are expected to be friends and community leaders, and that shoulder for everybody else to lean on. But at the same time, who do we go to in terms of seeking mentorship and support for these leadership decisions we make every day? How are we speaking out? How are we showing up for ourselves? How are we showing up authentically? Not allowing the adversity that are confronting us to limit us from showing up as authentic leaders. That's why I came in and said that conscious leadership starts with radical self-awareness. When you know who you are, nobody can just define you for you. And when you know who you are, you lead from a place of conviction. And that conviction extends to everybody else. Nobody takes power and hand it to you. Power is earned through reputational collateral with those who you lead. No one gives you a space. A space is created as a result of your impact. A space is created based on what you've raised to the occasion to do. Everybody will be here. And the fact that you saw something different, you stood up, you rose to the occasion and say, no, it doesn't have to be this way because it has always been this way. Have that audacious ability to move the needle, but do it from a place of conviction. Do it from a place of self-awareness. In that manner, you will be able to be a conscious leader. That's what I think. And in addition to that, I mentioned that I had lost my childhood to the Civil War. And there are a lot of us that are going around with maybe unhealed childhood or have been confronted with circumstances down the line that may limit or affect our ability to lead properly.
You've just mentioned your position as a woman, and you also shared some of the sentiments in terms of a need for more community mentorship to really address some of the many hats that women have to wear. The theme for Leading Women Summit is the rule breakers of Africa. What are some of the personal lessons you have drawn in your personal journey that have led you to achieve the level of success that you have today?
So I'll tell you this much. When I returned from exile as a refugee, and I saw circumstances in my society, in my community, that were not reflective of the kind of society that I wanted to be in, Those conditions informed me to want to rise up to the occasion, to stand up, to do differently. And I was able to connect with all these former child soldiers and teenage mothers from the war and provided leadership to them to become disarmed and reintegrate and rehabilitated into society. Teenage mothers, 17, 18-year-old girls that have 3 kids already. I was able to true leadership. And I was also 18 myself. I was not much older than they were. And I was able through leadership to get these young people to turn the corner, to have light bulb moments, which create a ripple effect on other community members. So I say all of that to say, when you consider yourself a leader, don't tell yourself, oh, I'm not a leader because I'm doing business. You can do business with a purpose. You can do business, and within business, cultivate leadership, create social impact. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm not a leader because I'm a one-man army. You are not a one-man army. People look up to you. In a world where everything is so shallow, everything is so aesthetic-based, you have to show up authentically. And when you show up authentically, you allow the space for people to connect with you from that authenticity.
So, in essence, community, compassion, impact, and education are just some of the key lessons and insights you have encountered within your journey.
Absolutely.
Lady Leela,
Yes.
it has been such a pleasure.
Thank
You
you.
have such an important story to tell. And we're so privileged that Forbes Women Africa and CNBC Africa is the first, or one of many platforms you have been able to share your story. But unfortunately, we have to close the interview off here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, and I will leave a copy of this with you, a signed copy of this, and this will be the pre-launch, and I look forward to remaining engaged with Forbes. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.